I am with the Association of Canadian Cannabis Retailers. We are a nonprofit society. We represent 38 retail brands in BC, and our mandate is to further the interests of private retailers in BC. Illegal shops are a source of frustration for my members. Obviously, there is a lot of investment that goes into becoming a regulated shop. So when they are making that investment in either transitioning or joining the regulated market, seeing participants that are not making the same efforts is obviously very frustrating. I think there are a significant number of unregulated shops that we're still seeing the public use regularly, and I think that is actually the answer to the question. There is a public demand for those products in the unregulated market, and those demands are being met by unregulated retailers. That is part of our challenge in the regulated system to ensure that we have the tools to compete with those unregulated stores, because what's happening is consumers have a long history, a tradition of access. So from their perspective, they've been potentially consuming cannabis that they've purchased from a storefront for the last 4 years, and from their perspective, the only thing that has changed is the legality of cannabis. That does not necessarily drive a change in their behavior, because the stores are open and operating, so there is an assumption on the part of the consumer that they are regulated and legal cannabis. In Vancouver specifically, the storefronts, because there is a higher concentration of them, it is more obvious. In Vancouver, the major consideration is not so much the unregulated storefronts, but rather the wide varieties of unregulated delivery services that are available to consumers. And I think that the concentration is due mainly to the population density, right? And also potentially because in Vancouver, we have had a long history of unregulated access. I suspect that there has been hesitance on the part of regulators and the municipality to go in and actively shut these shops down. I would say that the circumstances that we find ourselves in when it comes to the unregulated shops and their proliferation needs to be addressed, not necessarily with increased enforcement of the cannabis regulations, but rather finding the reason that the public continues to spend their money in the unregulated market. I think that that's a very important question. Why is that happening? And I think that it is obvious that there are tools that my regulated retailers could use, things like to-the-door delivery, removal of the window opaquing, etc., that might drive foot traffic into the regulated system.